What is it about nice people that makes them struggle when they get to leadership roles? This is a fascinating topic for me. I see this all the time. It's when your empathy helps you get into the leadership role because people know that you are reliable, conscientious, you're socially skilled, you can tune into people, you are a mediator, you support others, you do work behind the scenes that you don't necessarily need the credit for. That gets you into the leadership role. Okay, and also you're the technical expert. I've worked with senior geologists, financial directors, partners in accountancy firms. And it's not just because you're nice that you've got the leadership role, you're also really good at what you do. When you get to leadership roles, your title changes. You might become a head of, or a director, or a VP. Your salary changes to match your new responsibilities. But your empathy doesn't change. The way you express your empathy doesn't change. You are still the nice person, still mediating, still not saying that thing because you'd rather have a situation, for example, in a team meeting where everyone feels safe, everyone feels listened to. So you'd rather not contradict what someone else is saying because you'd much rather prioritize how everyone feels. You aren't necessarily seen as the one who is the most credible in the room because you're still dampening down your language. When you present an idea or an opinion, you still soften your tone. You don't want it to be seen as something that can be rejected immediately, so you might make suggestions instead of saying, actually, this is what I really want to say and this is how I'm saying it, and then I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm going to explore why empathic people need to be in positions of power, how they can get there, and how they can be better leaders and feel really comfortable when they do. They can lead with calm confidence and clear authority, and they're going to really enjoy it. And that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in this playlist, and I'm so happy you are here. Before I move on though to different videos, I need to define empathy, how that's different from compassion, and why I don't focus on compassionate leadership as such. I focus on empathy-powered leaders. There are two types of empathy: cognitive empathy and emotional empathy. Cognitive empathy suggests that I know how you feel. I know you're suffering. I understand that you're suffering. If I see someone trip in the street, I know they're probably going to feel not just humiliated, but they may even feel hurt as well. Emotional empathy allows me to feel with that person. I don't just know they're suffering, but maybe I feel it. Maybe my body even jolts when I see them trip and it's as if it's happened to me. That's emotional empathy in action. So when we know someone is suffering, we're using cognitive empathy. When we feel with them, that's emotional empathy. And empathy is a precursor to compassion, which is about alleviating someone's suffering. So if I'm showing compassion, I dash across the street and I ask that person how they are, and if there's anything I can do to help them. To recap, cognitive empathy is like saying, I know how you feel. Emotional empathy is like saying, I feel with you. And compassion is like saying, how can I help? But the interesting thing about empathy, and why I focus on that as a quality, is because it's not just about suffering and pain, unlike compassion, which is all about alleviating suffering and pain. Emotional empathy and cognitive empathy work together to also bring us joy. The emotional contagion doesn't have to just come from suffering and pain, but also knowing that someone is having a good time or a good laugh, or they're excited about something, or they're celebrating. Like when I watch the England Lionesses win a game, I'm delighted. I'm excited for them when they're running up and down the pitch and celebrating with their fans. Emotional contagion in that way makes empathy a joyous experience. That's why I don't focus on just compassionate leadership, but I focus on empathy-powered leaders, because it's not just about noticing how other people feel when they're suffering. It's also about being able to lead from the front when everything is going well. One of the reasons I don't focus on compassionate leadership is because you can't train someone to be compassionate, especially if they don't already have empathy. If they don't know that someone is suffering, if they can't feel with that person, it's unlikely that they're going to want to help alleviate that suffering. Another reason why I don't focus on compassionate leadership is because it's very difficult to train compassion when someone doesn't choose it. I honestly believe that you have to choose to want to help someone before that can feel authentic. For example, I can take you through a compassionate leadership development program, and it can be a few days long, it can be a few months long. I can teach you how to actively listen. I can teach you how to ask open questions. I can tell you should be more curious. I can tell you to pay attention to people when they are suffering. That ultimately is showing empathy. But if you're using all of those skills and you don't really feel that interested in those people, you don't really care how they feel, you just want to get the job done, you've got a ton of things to get on with, you've got targets to meet, you've got performance management to do because not everyone is engaged and doing the best they can, attending to someone, being curious about how they're feeling and asking open questions and listening to the answers is probably the last thing on your mind. But the majority of compassionate leadership training fails because it takes most managers through the same program. And most managers don't have the level of empathy that you do. Whereas empathy-powered leadership takes empathic people and turns them into extraordinary leaders because they already have the ability to tune into others. They care about other people. They are the ones building trust and authentically relating to others. The people I coach are high in empathy. They get into leadership roles, and then they find that old habits, old patterns are getting in the way. And usually that's based on being kind, putting others first, etc. Being the nice person because they've prioritized being liked and they've prioritized keeping the peace over taking a lead and doing what needs to be done and what the situation calls for now is a different expression of empathy. My empathy-powered method takes empathic people and turns them into extraordinary leaders. They already have everything you need. They have the conscientiousness, reliability, they take responsibility for things happening. They can tune into other people, they have respect for others, they make others feel included and others feel valued. What more do you need? I'm going to be exploring and unpacking loads of different themes related to the empathy-powered leader and those people who want to be in leadership roles, those people who already are in leadership roles but don't feel very comfortable being in them, and for those people who need to tame the inner critic, tackle the imposter syndrome, build self-worth. I talk about the king pole and how that is so important to understanding that you are so much more valuable than you have ever known. Yeah. I can help you learn to self-promote, but in a really authentic way. And above all, I can help you really enjoy your leadership role without having to change who you are, but actually being more you. Your impact is infinite when you are in a leadership role and when you are enjoying that leadership role. You're leading with calm confidence. You're showing what it's like for other people coming through the organisation who are also high in empathy, but right now they're too busy helping others. They're too busy doing everyone else's job. They're too busy hiding in the sidelines, overworking, being undervalued, being underpaid. It's your job as the empathy-powered leader to make sure that those people are given the support that they need too. And only you can see that. So can you see how excited I am for your potential as an empathy-powered leader? And I'm so glad that you're joining me on this part of your journey.